WCBI News at 6 starts now.
The suspect accused of forcing his way into a home in Lowndes County last week and shooting a man is caught in Tennessee. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Investigators traveled to Murfreesboro, Tennessee on Monday after getting information on 21-year-old Tommy DeLoach. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, possession of a stolen weapon, and armed robbery. Investigators believe DeLoach burst into a mobile home on Tabernacle Road just before midnight Wednesday, shooting one person. That person is in stable condition tonight. Deputies say 2 other victims were assaulted and they are expected to recover. Investigators believe the victims were targeted but are not sure why. DeLoach is still in custody in Tennessee awaiting extradition back to Lowndes County. More arrests are expected in this case. A Eupora woman is now in a state prison following her guilty plea to child abuse charges. 42-year-old Wendy Fountain was transferred to the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility last week to serve her prison term. Fountain was sentenced to 10 years for almost starving her son to death. Deputies rescued the child from a Eupora apartment in January of last year. 30-year-old Heather Fountain was also charged in the case. She pled guilty to felony child neglect and got a 5-year suspended sentence. A third person in the case had his charges reduced to a misdemeanor. A judge has ordered the release of a Clay County man jailed for 12 years without a trial. Stephen Jesse Harris was arrested for the 2005 shooting death of his father, but his case was delayed until his mental competency could be evaluated. That finally happened last year, and Harris was found incompetent to stand trial. Well, the ruling also stated that Harris should be sent to a long-term state mental health facility, but there are no beds available, so Harris will go free since the requirements of the court order cannot be met. The charges are now dismissed, and Harris can be tried if he is found competent sometime in the future. Oktibbeha County volunteer fire departments are finding the cost for keeping residents safe is going up, but the money to do the job is going down. Our Joy Talley is here in the studio with reasons for the cuts and where they're turning for help. Joy.
Andrea, the Board of Supervisors is working on the new budget. At Monday's meeting, the Oktibbeha County Fire Commission went before the board, telling them why they need more money.
Firefighters in Oktibbeha County aren't only battling blazes, but battling budgets. Oktibbeha County Fire Services Coordinator Kirk Rosenhan says these are the biggest hurdles.
Funding, because my old comment about fires aren't put out with water, they're put out with dollars. Second of all is person power, because there are some areas of the county that at certain times of the day I simply don't have anybody. And the Rating Bureau requires a minimum number of people, certainly. And then thirdly is distance.
There are 7 volunteer fire departments and 14 fire stations in Oktibbeha County, covering a 500 square mile radius.
It's something we really got to watch, because each department has a allotment every year for the number of stations and such, and so each of them have their own budget, and then I have a budget for the large capital expenses and certain other expenditures.
And the money goes quick and straight towards equipment.
It can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 just to equip one firefighter, and that's just your personal equipment. That's not any tools or the trucks or the other specialized equipment we use.
Hoses, nozzles, and thermal imagers are just some of the other high-dollar gadgets firefighters need to fight fire and keep residents safe.
We just bought 2 sets of rescue tools, for cutting people out of cars. That's the normal everyday type thing, but the additional funding that we can get would upgrade the apparatus and allow us to expand some of these boundaries.
The better the tools, the better benefits for residents.
Which means lower insurance premiums for the homeowners. So we're always trying to improve our ratings so that we can provide the best service for the public.
For now, supervisors have tabled the matter. Andrea, back to you.
All right, Jory in our studio with that story. The director of the Mississippi School for Mathematics and Science gives Columbus business and civic leaders a progress report. They talk today about the impact the school is having on its students as well as the area. Jermaine McConnell says the school has an impact not only on students but also on Columbus and Lowndes County. McConnell also touted the school's graduation and placement rates. He says school leaders are excited about the direction of the school.
This was a life-changing experience. Not only are we providing them with more challenging and rigorous coursework, but the things that happen outside of the classroom makes such a big difference. The residential environment, them being around other students who are like them, like-minded, learning from each other, I think really adds the greatest value, and that's something that really just can't be duplicated.
MSMS is always recruiting new students. You can find a link to their application on our website, WCBI.com. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson for that. Keith?
Hey, Andrea, right now in Columbus, we have some high cirrus clouds out there, a little bit different than yesterday. Not as numerous are these thunderstorms and showers out there right now. A few blips showing up on radar, a few isolated showers here dancing around. The strongest storm actually near Holly Springs. But that's still northwest of our coverage area. You can see temperatures ranging from the 70s to the low 90s. So it all depends on the cloud cover. If you've seen a little bit of rain today, the heat index still pretty high, though, with all that moisture in the air. Can't rule out an isolated shower, thunder shower this evening. Those will go away after sunset. We are warm here, even hotter tomorrow again. More in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. The Starkville Electric Department is expecting one of its busiest days this week. Move-in time is getting underway for the new school year, and many accounts are being renewed, transferred, some even canceled. Extra part-time staff is in place to handle this increased workload, and other measures are also being taken to make sure that everything is spaced out so everyone can get their power turned on in time.
Creates a lot of activity for us. The things we're doing to prepare for that is we're using technology more and more, encouraging those students to apply for services ahead of time and schedule their service order for connection dates well in advance.
And it's estimated that up to 25% of Starkville Utilities customers will have new tenants moving in during this move-in season. Well, this, of course, is one of the most stressful times of the year for students and for apartment managers. Move-out day. It's happening in apartment complexes across Starkville. WCBI's Parker King is live outside the Point in Starkville with more on how management is getting ready.
Andrea, the Point has around 1,400 leases in the entire complex, and around 800 are moving out. Management's done a good job these next couple of weeks, moving out piece by piece. The first 400 moved out yesterday, the next 400 will move out next Monday, and the remaining week will focus mainly on cosmetics, patching up holes, painting walls, and cleaning, of course, to make sure all of these rooms are ready for the next wave of students.
It's one of the most stressful times of the year for apartment managers, move-out day.
We come in each day knowing that it's going to be crazy, that it's going to be a really long day.
When students move out of their apartments, it may be the end for them. For staff and management at the Point in Starkville, it's only the beginning.
Our job is to inspect every apartment that has moved out. We don't go home that day until it's all done. So we're looking for any damages. We're also throwing away any furniture that has been damaged or doesn't meet our standards. And then we are documenting everything we find, making sure the apartment is completely emptied out so that it's ready for our cleaning crew to come in.
To do this, management hires around 20 more people that they refer to as the muscle to carry out the damaged furniture while other staff members document everything that's being taken out and put back in. These inspections are key because sometimes people leave many items lying around the apartment.
You'll walk in and it looks like they just went to the grocery store. They left everything behind, a refrigerator and cabinets full of stuff. We walked in and there were cards all around the dining room table. It looked like they were just in the middle of a card game and we walked in.
Once everything is cleared out, it's time to clean, and the job is done thoroughly.
We check under beds, under couches, we're flipping furniture over, every dresser drawer, every nightstand is pulled out, bathrooms thoroughly cleaned, appliances pulled out, clean. We want to make sure it's ready, perfect for move-in day.
And after this is over, it will only be half the battle because come August 12th, they face the next stage, move-in day. Reporting live outside the Point in Starkville, Parker King, WCBI News. Andrea?
All right, Parker, thanks so much for that live report. A lot of activity around the town of Sturgis, too. The 18th Sturgis Bike Rally is less than a month away. Residents and city leaders are excited about the big event, and they've already started making preparations. Thousands of bikers will be riding in the third weekend in August. It's the small town's biggest event of the year, and it brings in big bucks. This year, city leaders are asking everyone who comes to register on time and to purchase an armband for the rally.
This rally is actually funded by armband sales. That's the only place money comes from. As this rally grew larger in the past, it's due to the amount of people that came to the rally, but it's also armbands. If you sell 2,000 armbands, you can't expect to have major bands playing in the park. If you sell 20,000 armbands, then we can have major bands in the park. So it's important.
Registration begins for the bike rally on August 18th. You can find more information on times and events that are planned this year on our website, WCBI.com. A group that helps children live out their dreams gets a big wish granted. We take a look right after the break. Welcome back. A group that helps make outdoor dreams come true for children with life-threatening diseases lands a big check today. Mossy Oak Properties presented $45,000 to Catch a Dream. The money was raised during the Foxhole Shootout, sponsored by Mossy Oak Properties. St. Jude and a law enforcement charity will also be taking home sizable donations. Catch a Dream representatives say the money will fund up to 10 trips.
We're dependent upon these kinds of donations, and we invest this money directly into those child trips. So this is 10 child trip equivalents handed to us this morning by Mossy Oak Properties.
The average Catch a Dream trip runs around $4,500. Organizers say they're grateful for the generous donation.
Well, we do have some isolated showers in the region right now. We go to Ole Miss there at the quad. You can see some wet weather there. Most of us dry this afternoon. We're going to turn up the thermostat tomorrow. The full forecast is next.
Your First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Let's go to Verna and our Alpha Insurance camera at Durham's Pharmacy. You can see some of those high cirrus clouds streaming back into West Alabama. And as we go up to Tupelo, some of these friendly cumulus clouds, these big towering cotton balls, looks like a bee flying by the camera lens. They were looking to the east there in downtown Tupelo. But we are reasonably dry in our viewing area at this point in time. A few showers trying to pop on up. The heaviest downpour recently has been near Holly Springs, but as we showed you going the break there, in and around Oxford, dancing close to Water Valley there. And farther south, we have some showers here in and around Philadelphia. And that's really about it in our immediate area. We've had some very heavy rain across some parts of Mississippi and Alabama today, some additional showers and storms back to the north. But all of this will tend to fizzle after 8 o'clock once the sun goes down. So not nearly as active as what we had yesterday evening, but still a chance for a little bit of rain out there. Overall rain chances low Wednesday and Thursday, 10%. Can't rule it out. We're not really expecting a lot. We're going to take it up to 50% Friday. A front will move on through. Most of the rain will probably be done in our area by Saturday morning. So most, if not all, of the weekends looking okay. And then we'll have a few more showers and storms next week. It's summertime, right? Here's Futurecast tomorrow. You can see a few hints of green out there. So can't rule out a passing shower or storm tomorrow. And same story on Thursday, too, but we just don't expect a lot. Here comes the front. As we get into Friday, that will come on in here. So a better chance for scattered showers and storms, maybe some locally heavy rainfall. And behind that system, we'll actually have a big area of high pressure come on in from the Great Lakes, and that will tend to cool things down for the weekend and usher in some slightly cooler temperatures and some drier air. So our overnight lows could actually get down into the 60s. That's a nice little change of pace. Right now, upper 80s to low 90s if you haven't had the rain, much cooler in the region if you have seen a little bit of rain out there. So that's the current temperature situation. Our forecast lows tonight, widespread 70s yet again. Can't rule out an isolated early evening shower, but those will go away. Fairly quiet tonight. And here's our planner for tomorrow. Around 80 at 8 o'clock, 91 by noon, 94 in the afternoon. Pretty toasty here across the region. And the heat index will likely be in the triple digits here. So some dangerous heat. It is still July. It is summertime here, and this is what we deal with. 94 tomorrow, 95 Thursday, 80s though Friday with those better storm chances, 80s for the weekend, and some lows getting down into the 60s. Andrea?
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. The Bulldogs are back to work. Day one of fall camp and start will going on. More from Coach Mullen and the team coming up next in sports.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Football returns to Starkville. It's been 108 days since the maroon and white game back in April. The Bulldogs got back to work today on the first day of practice for the fall. Mississippi State, the first SEC team to begin fall camp today. Since we're talking about some dates, 39 days until game number 1 of the 2017 season, when the Bulldogs will take on Charleston Southern in Starkville. To the outlook on the season, SEC Media Day predictions have Mississippi State towards the bottom of the SEC West. The Bulldogs are using the poor marks as motivation this offseason. Head coach Dan Mullen and the team believes this year's team could turn some heads in the SEC.
I'll be honest with you, if our guys come out, work as hard as they can, put in maximum effort every day and push themselves every day to be the best that they can be, that's a very successful season, and that's all that we can expect.
It feels like my freshman year when I first got here. When we was number 1, it feels the same way. I mean, we got a lot of leadership out here, and we got a lot of players that are gonna step up and make plays. So it can be a great season.
We've always put the chip on our shoulder. You know, we're always kind of the picked last kind of team, and I think we've just kind of embraced that. We've used that to motivate us. It doesn't really matter what people outside these walls think, because we know what we have is special, and we know what we can do.
We can be great. We can be great. We can be legendary. We can do some big things this year, but it's just all going to rely on what we put in work at practice.
How good can this team as a whole be this year?
I'm going to just let y'all find that out when the season comes.
Speaking of when the season comes, here are the Game 1 set times. Mississippi State and Charleston Southern will take on each other at 3 p.m. on September 2nd. That game will be aired on the SEC network. That game, of course, in Starkville. And then up in Oxford on September 2nd, Ole Miss will be taking on South Alabama at 6:30 p.m. That game will be on ESPNU. Of course, South Alabama played Mississippi State Week 1 last year, so we'll see how it goes this year up in Oxford. Academy Week rolls along on the high school football tour. We stay in District 2 or AAA division with Winston Academy, who looks to put an end to missing out on November football. Winston Academy is stop number 37 in our 1660 marathon.
WCBI 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Emerson Animal Hospital, where your pets are family in West Point.
The Patriots of Winston Academy are hungry to play late into the fall. Last season, the team finished below 500 and missed out on the postseason for a 5th straight year. The Patriots lose 9 seniors from a year ago, but return 10 starters, and this team looks to get back to winning ways in 2017.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this season. Last year we went 4-6 and didn't quite end up like we wanted to, but we're going to come back this year, and we got a good group of seniors coming in, and we're hoping to really have a good year this year.
It's my senior year. I'm ready to get it rolling. We have a lot of expectations going for us this year. We got a lot of seniors coming back, and the work ethic right now it's going really well. I think everyone's really excited about what's going to go on.
Our big thing this year is, we improved a little bit last year, and hopefully the seniors can take charge. I'm going to kind of put the onus on them. It's their last go-round, and I expect them to lead their team. I feel good about where we're at right now and where we're headed.
This year's senior class was in 7th grade the last time the Patriots patrolled the postseason.
I think the focus really starts, this summer, and getting your mind right, getting ready for the season. And then those non-conference games before we get to district, that'll really get us rolling. We're gonna go to the playoffs this year. We're going to go to the playoffs.
Our goal now is, and the way this thing's set up, you can just about win one league game, and if you win your non-division games, you're going to get in the playoffs. And You know, and that's what we're shooting for.
We haven't made the playoffs since I've been here, and it's something that I think it'll help the school, honestly, because when you're playing good in sports, I think school goes better. Everybody's behind you, and we're trying to get everybody behind us.
The Patriots will open their season at Newton County Academy on August 18th. In Louisville, Jonathan Flippo, WCBI Sports.
All right, our 7-day forecast shows mid-90s tomorrow and Thursday. We are used to that. But Friday, a chance for some showers and storms. Cooler, slightly drier air for the weekend and early next week, and some lows back into the 60s, so that'll be a little change of pace.
It will be a nice change of pace.
As we start August, not too long from now.
And school in about 2 weeks. So we'll talk about that later, though. We will. That's the news at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, everybody.